coming in. We are excited to discuss our entry-level position with you.
This is so great. I have been trying to break into the field and get some experience.
Right. Yeah. So about that, I noticed you don't have any direct experience in this role.
No. That's why I'm applying for entry-level position.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we are looking for someone who can just, hit the ground running.
Is there any training or mentorship?
No, of course not. We don't have time for that.
How does someone get experience if this is the first job?
That is such a great question. And we do value problem solvers here. So, if you solve that, if you figure it out, feel free to apply again in the future.
Hi.
Hey. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Sanity Pending Podcast. I'm Holly and this is Amber. And today we are talking about new collar jobs. Picture it. We're being told now that college isn't the only path anymore. Instead of being saddled with decades of student loan debt, employers are now telling us that they're looking for skills. And that sounds like a step in the right direction, right? But then why the heck does it still feel so difficult for people to get their foot in the door? You and I, when we were looking for this, we're seeing a surge of conversation online from job seekers saying they're applying to hundreds of jobs with no callbacks. And then employers on the other side are saying they can't find any talent. So what's going on? Are new collar jobs actually creating opportunities, or is this all just talk? What do you think, Amber?
Yeah, big topic. Especially coming from the generation that we were told, kind of almost forced into a university education path and told that you had to have, education to be competitive. And then getting degrees that turned out didn't actually matter, and that they actually just look at the fact that you went to college so that it has these unwritten, assumed skills that you have, that about, sticking to a schedule, showing up for class on time, that somehow translates to you showing up to a job on time. So right. I have this perspective of just not understanding. I followed it, and so I'm speaking from the perspective of having a degree and then having a degree that I'm not utilizing, but yet using the phrasing that makes me feel better about having the degree by going, but I have all these other skills, because that's exactly how it was told to me. It's it doesn't actually matter what your degree is in. It's just the fact that you have it. And I'm like, that's a problem. Yeah. And now I am infuriated by it, because what that piece of paper represents to me is privilege. The fact that I had an ability to go to college and and use that privilege to get this degree that doesn't actually matter, went into debt, right? To be able to, because who can afford college without a job out of high school? So to me, it just equals privilege. And then anytime that a social justice conversation about privilege comes up for me, it usually makes me irate. And even this difference between white collar and blue collar is a classist conversation.
Yeah, it is. This change of saying that experience and skills matter more than the fact that you were able to go to school, if you were able to scrape enough money together or something like that to go. It sounds promising. It sounds like fewer barriers for people to get in, less debt, certainly, and more opportunities. But I don't know, a lot of people, I think, who have started to navigate this are getting really frustrated by the contradiction of employers telling them that they want capable workers, right? We want somebody who can show initiative, do the things that you were just talking about, Amber. But then they expect applicants to arrive fully trained with years of experience so they can, quote, hit the ground running. What? If no one is willing to help people gain that experience, then where are those experienced workers supposed to come from? I don't, it's so, this never ending thing. That's why I feel is it just talk? Is it just, people saying a thing and then using it to as an excuse whenever they're writing up their LinkedIn articles to be oh yeah, people just don't want to work anymore. This new generation, they're just they don't have the work ethic that they used to. It's a little irritating.
Yeah, it's very irritating. And it's not that they don't want to work. They can't figure out how
Right.
to get a job to work.
Right.
Because when you have that entry-level position, right, that says must have this degree, or we will take an equivalent of 5 years plus experience in this field, right? As an entry-level position, that's a misnomer. That's not entry level then. You're actually looking for somebody with experience, and that completely is not entry level.
But we want to give you entry level pay. It's this whole, like, taking advantage of people, and especially taking advantage in a market where it is very hard to find opportunities and things like that. And
we already know that you're willing to accept a candidate who doesn't have experience because of education, but education isn't the same as experience. And education does not always imply that they have the knowledge that you're seeking, because I also feel like it's a cop-out to use it too. Here's my cynical hat on, which I don't put on very often.
No,
but my
you
cynical
don't. That's
hat,
usually my role. I'm like, oh, okay.
But I have a lot of feelings about this, right?
I know.
And so my cynical hat for this is a cop-out for organizations, teams to actually identify what it is that they want. I think that they have this mythical idea of what the perfect person looks like. And then that perfect person, they can write it out on a piece of paper. It says that they must have this, they must have that, and they must be able to do this. But then they don't interview to that same standard, or they interview around different, like personable, or things that you can only learn from meeting someone versus how they can write about themselves. Or it's not even writing about themselves. It's writing, let's be honest about that. It's writing to pass the HR machine that scans for the keywords.
Yeah.
So I feel like that has also distorted, if somebody has just learned to play the game, you're really just picking from the pot of people who have learned to play the game. And you might have an incredibly qualified candidate who doesn't want to play games. They just want to come in and work. And why do they have to know how to play the game? It's rage. It to me is another barrier and another layer that keeps certain people out.
Yeah. So to your point that you were just mentioning too, of people who have figured out how to play the game. I know there's a side where it's there are people who don't want to play that game. I also don't fault people who are playing the game though, because we've created an environment where there is no way to get to that next step, get your foot in to have a conversation unless you have figured these systems out, because absolutely on the HR side of thing, you see candidates who say all the right things, and then you're right, they come in, they're not a good fit at all. But we have trained people to do this. And so what do we expect then? And there's no, speaking of training, sorry, can we talk about on the job training too? What is this whole, everybody needs to come in and know exactly how to use our proprietary systems that nobody else is using but us, but we want you to know how to do these things. Excuse me. I don't understand this whole, we want to relieve ourselves of the responsibility to train and nurture our employees and give them the training that they need to grow in our company, in our teams and in our company. What's up with that?
But that's it. That is it right there. It is the time that it takes to train someone.
So is it just money? There's no monetary value for them. They don't see it. Yeah.
Because it kind of feels like why would I help you to do the job that I need you to do?
That's so, Amber, that's
right.
That drives me so crazy. I just got to say, so we've all, Amber, we have all seen those stories online where people reminisce about a family of 5 surviving on a single income. You know what I mean? But let's be honest, their career path looked totally different than ours. It was very straightforward as far as you get hired, you get the training that you need, you gain experience. And then the expectation is you stay here in our company and you grow in the company. But now it's very different. You're expected to have all this experience before anybody is even willing to entertain an interview with you. It's it's like those memes that we saw online where employers are like, oh, we're looking for a caterpillar with 5 years of butterfly experience. It's utter nonsense. So if employers want experienced talent, they have to be willing to create it, putting in the effort and be willing to pay for it. Amber, don't give me this whole entry level job, but we want experienced people. We want experienced people, but we want to give them entry level pay. No, I'm not having that.
I just still can't get over even the people who can play the game and get into those positions.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of like walk around like with their head in the clouds, like, well, I'm waiting for somebody to tell me what to do. Right. And then they're like, yeah, but you have a degree. So we expected you to just, have, and it's like, that's not clear. That's not actually.
And that's not fair. I'm sorry. That's not fair. Who the heck does that? That's insane. Right? That's an unrealistic expectation.
To be a self-motivator or a self-starter doesn't have a lick to do with whether you have a degree or not. Yeah. And I don't really understand. Like, I had experience with a boss, manager, right, supervisor, who was so honed in and focused on hiring only people with education because it sent a message for them that they could rely on the fact that they had some standardized level of knowledge about something. And then wanted to be able to speak to an individual at a level that they were at. So they wanted to hire themselves in another candidate to train them only in a way that she knew that she could be communicated with, is my thinking. Now, we just entered into Amber's opinion territory there on, but the fact is that I did have someone who focused so tremendously on education, and the comment, like the side conversations that I would have with this individual about but what about this skill? And what about this? And what about that? And she's like, well, that stuff is trainable. So if training's on the table,
right,
we just need someone who wants to be here that we can train.
Yeah. Like, explain to me then the value of that piece of paper that you're saying is a absolute requirement for the job. That, you're not making sense.
And that's where you can get in the interview, but somebody like that is never going to pass the scan. And I don't know if every organization uses scans. So I'm definitely speaking from a perspective of federal service.
HR landscape has totally changed now. And I couldn't even speak to what everybody's doing. It's all very different. And we've heard some horror stories online of where these new systems are just mass rejecting everybody that's applied. But, you bring up an interesting point too about some of these things, what goes actually into the application. Because I think one of the things that frustrates me, having been on that side, is I've seen these things that are not at all what the job actually is. They put in all of this fluff and all of these things to be impressive, to make an impressive job, only for that candidate to come in and be encounter this awakening of hey, all this stuff you said that I would be responsible for doing and the job would entail in the announcement. I'm not actually doing any of that. When we sat down to have our performance conversation, you told me I had to do all this other stuff. Where was that in the original announcement? So it's there is this dishonesty on both sides. And it's a little strange to me that there can be this a very obvious you're not doing what you're saying you're doing. You're not doing what you're saying you're doing. So how do we fix this? It's just me personally, I think it has to start with employers. I 100%. We need to have a system that is more transparent, a system that is more honest. Managers whose focus is on growing their talent. We don't have that. We've got, I hate to say it, but I've had so many managers who are I don't want to train somebody. And I'm what do you think your job is then? I'm so confused about what role you think you serve here then. If you're not willing to do a manager's duty, which is to grow your team and ensure that they have the tools, resources, and training necessary to succeed, what are you doing here? What's your job?
That's a really good example of what you just described. Maybe what they were told their job is different than what you understand their job to be, right? Or had understood their job to be. And if they
so true,
did not have, right? Because I've seen so many people get stuck in that trap. of expectations and being caught in the middle of this is what superiors say that I'm meant to do. Here's what I understand I'm meant to do. And then here's what my peers thought that I was here to do.
Yeah, it's all different.
And it's all different. All the answers are different. And so I don't understand how from that kind of like knowledge, no wonder it's so frustrating sometimes to come in and just be like, what am I like? And it all is about managing expectations. And I think that that's where there's so much responsibility on onboarding and bringing people onto a team that I feel gets dropped.
For sure. 100%.
And so then, so then they are at this like complete disadvantage of, well, everything felt like it was organized and this is what you wanted. So now I've come into an organization where you might have handled this process to bring me on board well. But then once I'm actually on the team, there's no organization or there's no person that I can talk to, or there's no systems that are in place. Because you want me to build those systems for you. Right.
Yeah.
Like, and that you start to really read the information that's between the lines.
Yeah.
And I have seen people come in and go, yep, I'm out. Immediately. Like didn't even last 2 weeks because they were like, oh no, this is not what I signed up for.
Right,
I did not come in here to fix all of the things that you think need to be fixed because you don't have time to fix them.
Yeah, I have a lot of onboarding horror stories and things like that where, employees come in and they're like, you were dishonest. You like none of this stuff. You did not say it would entail any of these things. So I mean, absolutely. And then, there's also the side of like writing announcements for specific people. And then we say like those announcements sit out there, but we already have somebody that we've picked. And that is also frustrating. I have seen a lot of people online who have like reported like, hey, I got a call back for an interview, but it's all for show, right? Like they show up to show, hey, like we're competing this, but it's like, we already have somebody like picked for this. And like, we're just going through the motions. Well, that's BS. Don't waste people's time. Like some people have to take off work. Some people have to like buy a new outfit. Some people need to pay for transportation. Like we need to normalize like not wasting people's time. That is absolute garbage. Yeah. Oh, I know. Don't flames on the side of my face.
Yes. So many flames. Okay. So let's play a game. Let's laugh. Right?
Amber, we are playing career or catfish. Okay. Ooh. And the rules are really very simple here. I just want you to tell me, is this a real job? Or are we being professionally catfished here? Okay. So we're going to highlight some of this like stuff that we're seeing out there. People who are saying like, you should see some of the stuff out here. And we're like, oh, it's crazy. There's no way that's real. Amber, I think you might be surprised.
Ooh.
All right. So job number one. Okay. So real career or are we being catfished? So about the role, as a consultant, you will occasionally be required to join meetings under another name and profile, representing our team as a technical expert. This is a key requirement and candidates must be comfortable with it. So assuming an identity that is not your own.
The anguish.
Yes.
You know what? It feels stupid enough for this world. I'm going to say real.
All right, let's see. We're locking in at real. And you are correct. Yes.
I'm mad about it being right.
A requirement. This is like me logging in as Amber. And like representing you, like, hey, I'm going to be a coach here in this session. Like, dude, like how absurd. How is this legal? How is it? And the fact that they put it in writing.
That they must be comfortable with it. Like as a.
There's another side. At least they're being honest, right? They're being upfront about like, hey, we need you to do some illegal activities here.
Right. We want unethical people.
Yeah,
if you're ethical, do not apply. Right,
yeah, that's an automatic disqualifier. Amber, strong start here.
This is disturbing, though.
It doesn't make you feel good, but
no,
strong start. You are doing fantastic. You are amazing, my friend. All right, on to job number 2 here. Job number 2: real career or catfish, Amber. So about the role, we're seeking an energetic professional to monitor team energy, identify vibes disruptions, and ensure alignment with company objectives. Responsibilities include facilitating positivity checkpoints, conducting quarterly enthusiasm audits, and partnering with leadership to optimize workplace vibes. This sounds like a perfect job for you, I'm just going to say.
right? It does.
It sounds like you.
But it also sounds like a bunch of fluff that AI wrote. Like, I feel like this could also have been used in the AI. Like, is it real or AI? And so I'm going to say Catfish, because this is not real. Like, this is not a real job that somebody comes in and make sure that people are good, right?
Yeah, too fluffy for you.
It's too fluffy for any job, right? To kind of have an environment that people are so well taken care of that it's somebody's job to essentially problem solve, because this is what goes into that conversation we had earlier. This is an assumption that this is what a supervisor does for their team. And so why would you hire an interim position to handle the problem solving of vibes, right?
Yeah,
like
this is like when you do, this is like when you, Amber, the way you said that, the way you phrased it, it's like those companies who they do a survey, an employee survey, and employees say, hey, we're not getting paid enough. Like, we want more money. And then they're like, wait a minute, our employees are dissatisfied. Let's pay millions of dollars to a consulting company to come in to figure out, why are our employees unhappy? Wait, in the survey, they told you why they are unhappy. Yet you refuse to acknowledge that maybe salary is a motivator there. And you're instead going to throw all that money over here instead and come up with, like a vibes checkpoint. What?
Yeah, Catfish. Catfish is my final answer.
We're locking in at Catfish. Too fluff and stuff for us.
Too fluff and stuff.
You got it, girl. This is Catfish. Well spotted, friend. Very impressed. Okay, let's see how you do on job number 3. So, real or Catfish? You ready? So, provide your 10-year work history in order, including part-time, temporary, school, military, and any periods of unemployment. There should be no gaps, missing addresses, phone numbers, etc. If a company is no longer in operation, provide the last known address and phone number, or list current number and address of past supervisor. Applications will not be accepted with date gaps or missing information. Do not type "see resume." If employed under a different name, please list the name that was used.
Did you pull this from a job I've applied for? Because I feel like this is verbatim pulled from...
Is it the C, do not put C resume? Like, what's the point? What is the point of me providing a resume? Is it that? What stood out to you? Where did you get your, like, what was traumatizing for you in that reading?
There should be no gaps. Like you cannot, like, we will not abide by you not working solidly in between. Like, something is wrong with you if you have a gap in employment. And I hard disagree with that.
Oh, 100%. Are you kidding?
I am so this has just made me irate, because I have had to fill out a position, and they actually took a step further that said that if there was a gap, you still had to complete the employment and explain why you had a gap.
TMI. It's none of your business. None of your business.
What if I took off because I had a sick family member, needed to be their primary caretaker? So it's none of your business why I didn't have a job or why I chose this path. You don't get access to that information. So fine, I won't apply, because you, like, why are we shaming people before we even get into an interview? Yeah. Oh, this is real, and it's real frustrating, and I'm pissed. I'm pissed now.
Okay, we did it now. So I need an official answer for the game show here. Official answer.
Real career. Real career.
You got it, girl. Yes. Unfortunately, this is what a lot of, the job announcements look like nowadays. This is insane. Yes. Absolutely insane. So
absolutely insane. Like, they don't want humans.
No.
It is disappointing.
So, real career or Catfish here. So, job requirements: outstanding written and oral communication skills to perform duties including responding to phones and taking messages, the preparation of mailings, the order and maintenance of supply amounts, easy copying, typical filing and emailing, and basic knowledge of Microsoft Office. Oh, also, please note that our company requires all potential employees to have a credit card on file for your interview. We ask this because you will have access to company credit cards for business expenses. So for the interview, you don't get our company credit cards, but for the interview, we need your personal credit card. Does this sound real to you? Is this, like, too outrageous? What do you think?
So it definitely sounds too outrageous. So it's real.
So we're locking it at real here.
Real career.
Girl, you got it. again, this is one of those scam things because there are like real postings that go out, but they're all scams, right? It's scams to steal your information, whatever it might be. So be on the lookout for stuff like this. If it sounds anything like this, or if it sounds too good to be true, you should be suspicious. Next. So we got two more. Okay. So we got a couple more here.
Oh God. Can I make it?
Okay. Real career or catfish. So about the role. Optimize organizational patience and ensure stakeholders remain appropriately informed during periods of inactivity. This role will oversee weighting initiatives, coordinate expectation management efforts, and develop scalable frameworks for standing by. Requirements for this role: 7+ years of experience in a weighting related capacity. Proven ability to remain available. What is it? Remain available. Strong communication skills and experience making decisions in a fast-paced environment.
Oh my God, the hypocrisy.
Yeah. Real career or catfish, Amber? What is your gut telling you?
It's real.
It's telling you it's real? Okay, let's this is actually prediction. I think it's like too much. But Amber, the fact that you thought this could be real is like, it says something about what we are encountering in the real world, right? The constant contradiction. This is something you would find in the real world, 100%. And also this remain available. This is like all those, I can't tell you how many jobs I've seen posted that are like, being able to remain available all times of day. Excuse me?
Correct. I think what made me feel like it was real was the part where you said that you're essentially going to be doing work that then you place yourself on standby. And I was like, that happens. Like where you do you do all of this work in a rushed capacity. Yes. You hand it off on this like super incredibly short timeline for nothing to happen with it.
We have dealt with that, Amber. These 5-alarm fires on a Friday, and they're like, I need it in an hour. We bust your butt to get it in an hour, and then next week rolls around. The week after that rolls around. It's like, did anybody look at it? You said this was like the building would burn down if you didn't get this in an hour. What happened?
Yes. What happened?
Yeah, I guess because like we do have like actual experience in this. It felt a little too real life. Last one. You ready? Last one here. So real career or catfish.
Okay.
So about the job. Please apply only if you are willing to eventually work on site and redacted. While this role is listed as remote for visibility purposes, it is an on-site position and requires an in-office presence. So we're going to list it as remote, but you're going to come into the office every single day.
This sounds like somebody with 5+ years of experience writing job announcements has written this.
Yeah, a very skilled HR person who was like,
skilled.
We announced this and got no applicants. Oh, I got an idea. Let's list it as remote. We'll get all these applicants and then we'll spring it on them in the interview.
I'm going to say it's real.
It's real. Locking it in.
And I'm locking it in.
Girl, those instincts of yours are spot on, girl. But let's not anything before it gets posted. There needs to be another set of eyes on these things. Somebody else reviewed this and said, sounds good to me. So this went through a review and somebody said, yeah, I'm okay with us lying about posting this as a remote job, only to have to put a disclaimer that like, yeah, it's actually not remote. We're just doing this to get like more people to view it and potentially apply. And then, we'll spring it on you if you accidentally miss a disclaimer at the bottom. Like we'll let you know that it's, and again, we've wasted your time. You coming into the interview for a remote job because that's what you need. And like, yeah, we're just going to waste your time.
That should be illegal.
Oh, sir, very illegal. Very illegal. You did such a great job on that. Like but I think there's something to be said about the fact that like you knew instinctually using your gut, like what was real and what wasn't. And some of these were so outrageous that I honestly thought you were going to be like, that's too insane. That's too out there. There's no way that could be real. But you knew. It's like, what does that say about what's going on these days? And, for people who are like, pounding the pavement, looking through all of these announcements and trying to find something out there, like, I absolutely understand that frustration. I am curious, like from a coaching perspective too, like somebody who is out there trying to start over, maybe, they're looking for they want to branch out and get into a different career. What would you say to them?
I feel like that they would be coming to coaching to look for an answer. That somebody would give them what the answer is of what they needed to do. And coaching is a really difficult space to do that, because that's not kind of what occurs. So for me, I feel like it's a lot of identity work in terms of understanding who they are, what they're attracted to in terms of task and positions, and what is being offered, and how they see themselves feeling fulfilled. Because a job may not be what fulfills them. Yeah. And then they may discover that, like, look, if I don't want a job to be the role that fulfills me, because I just want the money to go do those fulfilling activities, then that gives you a totally different perspective and drive. And so to me, this whole conversation about people in positions and the frustration and things around it really comes down to how you see yourself and what you want for yourself and what you're willing to do to make that happen for yourself. And without that identity work, I think people just take jobs and don't fulfill passion, or it's a confidence or an ego boost that they were able to win against so many other people, the competitiveness of a position, and that it shows that, like, I competed against all of these other individuals and I'm the one that got it. And then they get in the position and they're like, but I don't actually want it, but I wanted to win. And so that need to win, that need to be the best, that need to, keeps them from having the conversation about what it is that they actually want.
What does that job mean to you? Or what does that career or that path mean to you? And you're right. I think it's absolutely fair for some people to say a job is just where I go to make money. I think it's very rare to say that you have a job that you're actually passionate about. You're very fortunate if you do, because you're right. I think for a lot of people, it might just be more of a transactional thing.
I feel like I get so enraged by these topics. And then what's behind the rage is always sadness.
I know. I can't believe like all these topics that come up, and I'm like, oh, this will be like, when we're playing, I'm like, this could be so much fun. It's got like all these things with the game and stuff. Yeah. Like usually there's a lot of anger there too. So like bringing it up and reliving some of the experiences that we've had, and the personalities that we've had to deal with in, the work setting. So yeah, it's definitely frustrating.
Funny in a way that's not funny, like a nervous laugh. Like it's like it's the equivalent of a nervous laughter.
Exactly. It's definitely like, a nervous laughter is perfect.
Holly, y'all, we've hit our 6-month mark as a podcast. And so 6 months of being an existing and future favorite podcast, right? For people who have yet to find us.
Yes.
because
people out there. Yes.
Yes. I'm talking to you. You may not be listening yet, right? But we're over here and doing our happy dance for 6 months as a podcast. And so thank you for being here. If you've been with us, especially since you've been with us since the beginning, but we really, really appreciate you being here. And as a token of our appreciation, we have opened a merchandise shop. So now you can buy some really cool stuff that helps you support us as a podcast, not just with your listening and your likes and your comments, but you can also now have your very own mug that we will sometimes be seeing. Yes, you can have your own mug. Or we have lots of items. I'm not going to sit here and list them all because I want you to have your own like personal excitement shopping experience on our merchandise shop. But yes, 6-month celebration. We've got some merch. And then we are also really starting to ramp up our activity on Substack. We are really trying to build a community there that we can offer a little more help than how we're able to offer just as being able to talk on a podcast with you, right? And be in your ears, or like you viewing us on YouTube. And so we are on Substack and we are on Reddit after podcast airs in our break room. And so we have appreciated and are still working on trying to build our engagement so that way we can keep sharing resources with each other. But most importantly, it's the memes. Y'all, let's just be honest. We're here for the memes. Did you see how my Oklahoma came out, y'all?
Y'all, I did.
Y'all.
I wasn't going to mention it, but I did notice. Yes, I did notice. And I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, my Okie girl came out. And so y'all want to go visit us on the webs and share them memes with us. And because really, that's what we're just a receptacle for memes now. That's really what we're. They bring us so much joy. And, so much. And anything.
We found so many good ones for this topic too. Oh my God, so many good ones.
Yeah, so we will post them and share them, and we will have those as part of our engagement too. So please join us for certain. And so we are Sanity Pending Podcast. I am Amber. This is Holly. And let's see if I can get our tagline right this time. And so if you have not throat punched someone this week, it's been a great week.
Yes.
Hang in there, everyone. We'll see you next time.